First Church in Roxbury.
There is no institution in Roxbury as old as the First Church Roxbury that is sitting on the same ground it's always sat on.
What would you tell us would be the good trouble the urban ministry should actually get into?
John Lewis knew where First Church was because you invited him. To have people from all over the country and activists all over the country and the world be invited to just come.
Because racism is a cancer, and racism as it impacts folks through economics has to be eliminated like one would find a cure for COVID.
Before, this is an audience that is about action, and they want to know what it is that we can do.
We got to get away from using dismissive language like, white fragility, and understand that that is people reacting to their canons being fractured or disrupted.
Our home, our family home back then was taken, and it was demolished, and we were homeless. That's when the disinvestment actually started, and so redlining and the like.
Organizing to figure out how they were going to take property. So there were 3 waves of gentrification in Boston. The first one where the economic fabric was destroyed by removing the businesses. Families were destroyed. Community stability was destroyed. And over 2,200 homes and buildings were destroyed.
You are going to tear down the Harriet Tubman House that sits on parcel 17, which was given to the Black community due to the atrocities of urban renewal, then we have a problem.
They have this robotic class and competition, but we're the only elementary school that's there. They said that the elementary school couldn't be in it. So we protested, and they changed the verdict, and they said, okay, you all can be in it. And our kids were the youngest kids there. They won first prize, second prize, and third prize. That was the first year. But now we haven't won since then, because now the older kids were so mad that these little kids from elementary school had won all 3 prizes, that since that year when they come, those kids are really strong. So see how it rippled? Oh, we're never gonna let them beat us again like that. And so they worked so hard.
Jim Crow laws and all of these laws were passed, which really were the genesis or the reason or the rationale for the creating of both the NAACP and the Urban League. Interesting enough, if folks don't know the history, the organization was formed by whites and blacks that were here. The first president of the Boston branch was Moorfield Story, who was white.
Les, you may remember this. There was a time when we couldn't get any money. We had so little money. And Henry came over and he had a conversation with me. And he said, Earl, maybe I can't do this. Maybe I have to give up the dream. And I said, hell no, Henry, you are not going to give up this dream. We're going to get the money. I know we're going to get the money.
All of this great production, living, learning, and teaching.
Can I add something? Everyone gives credit to Ken Burns for thinking how we do documentaries. It was Henry.
Right.
Dr. Martin, in listening to you talk about institutionalized racism, and you often will hear people talk about dismantling racism. What does that look like? And you started to touch on it a little bit when you spoke about policies. If you had to kind of lay out a plan for dismantling, removing it, what would those 3 to 5 steps look like for organizations to begin that process? And I know it's much more complicated than 5 steps, but I'm wondering, what would that look like for an agency to begin that process?
Get your act together and start giving such long answers. I got you.
No, that's not it. No.
For us to do this work well, there's a level of humility involved. There's a level of vulnerability involved in flipping the mirror around from everybody else, right? Because that's kind of how we do, that's how in a lot of people's minds what racial equity and social justice work is, right? I have to call out this person because they said this, and I have to do this. Well, you're not doing this and they're not doing that. And the heaviest lift is to flip the mirror around and be looking at ourselves.